watching Morning at NTV.
Thank you for your continued presence and your viewership. We thank you very much. And still Morning at NTV. And this morning we are delving into the world of sport. We are going to be discussing business, part of sport. And I'm Elvis Senono to take you through this segment. And I have two madmen. I refer to them as such. But they're also very important figures in Ugandan sports. They've been there. They're doing some great things. And they'll be helping me discuss or give us more details about how sport is run in this country. I have Deo Kasozi, the president of Kitara FC, a top flight league, and the leaders of the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. And also, in our company, in our midst, is Ahmed Hussein Masha, the FUFA Communications Director, but also one of the shareholders at Bright Stars. So we definitely have the right people in studio this morning to discuss business in sport. And I'll say my good morning to Mr. Deo Kasozi. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Elvis. I'm happy to be here once again. I've been here in other shows, but I'm happy to be here and happy that we are going to discuss something which is very important for sports in Uganda.
Yeah, something that we are all, the three of us are all passionate about.
Yeah, passionate about.
Yeah, good morning, Hussein.
Morning, Elvis.
Good to see you. Good to have you again. We usually interact in so many other ways, and you wear so many hats, but this morning we shall be discussing mainly sport and business.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy to be here. NTV is my home. I'm also, when I sit in the middle, position that someone occupies later in the day.
Later in the day.
So I hope I don't pick up his characters.
You might start analyzing other things outside.
But I'm glad
of the
to be here.
discussion.
So it's the right moment for us to discuss about football. I'm happy that 2 weeks ago I was in the same room, and now that I'm in the same room with a man who is enjoying the pinnacle of the pyramid of FUFA competitions, and that is at the top of the Uganda Premier League.
Okay, thank you. Saying the reason I referred to these gentlemen as mad, never mind that they are smartly dressed, is because they invest time, they invest resources, and so many other things into Ugandan sport. Deo,
Yes.
as president of Kitara, where do you get the motivation to start a football? Okay, you don't start a football club, but run a football club.
Of course, as you mentioned at the beginning, it is passion of the game first, but also looking at the future, it is money. Because the game has money, you know, in Europe and other developed world, many people are getting a lot of money from the sport. So apart from the passion of coming in to support a club or lead a club or invest in a club, football, it is also the future. I believe that in the next 4 or 5 years I can be able to get something from the game, from sports as a whole. So besides passion, also the business sense of it is also in my mind.
Yeah, then Hussein, we usually have a phrase that we all earn from sport, and someone might not know, but there are a few drop-offs here and there. Because while I might no longer be a player, a football player or a cricket player, but I earn from talking about sport. And as one of the people who run the Football Federation, how do you guys survive?
Of course, sports, you can't survive without stakeholders. So the stakeholders do make the game. That's the internal and the external. The internal, we are talking directly the players, the people who are managing the game, the people who are investing money into the game, and then the external stakeholders who may not have a bigger say or on decision making. That's the government, the media, the funds, but you cannot survive without them because you need to prepare a good product for them to make sure that they enjoy. So how we survive is having that good relationship, the internal stakeholders, the CEO, Mr. Edgar Watson, and the Secretariat, and then the other organs that are managing football in the country to work hand in hand with the external stakeholders, because if government is not going to create for you a good environment to play the game, if the sponsors are not going to come in, if the funds are not going to be in the stadium, the media are not going to criticize and also go give us that coverage that we deserve, then definitely you can't operate and you can't survive.
On average, how much does the federation spend in a given financial year?
Our estimated budget is around 40 billion. 40 billion estimated budget for 2024. But on average, I could tell you it could be around 35 billion shillings that the institution will spend in a year. Yes. Sometimes, of course, you may have projections for budgeting and you don't get all the money. For instance, if we have projected for a team to qualify for AFCON, even for the World Cup, you expect to get the prize money and then it'll come through, then definitely your projections come down and you spend within what you have.
Okay, as Ahmed deals with mainly national teams and all, so what he's describing is probably might be different from what Deo will describe, because Deo runs a football club. Ahmed Hussein has so many teams. We were having a joke yesterday that one day we might wake up and have a Sand Cranes team of under 10. Because
it's very much possible.
Because they just about every age category is being catered for. But Deo, you run a football club.
Yeah.
How do you survive in the murky waters of Ugandan football?
Yeah, of course, as key stakeholders, as Ahmad has mentioned, first of all, we need to know the league environment. And that is very core. And the FUFA, of course, provides now that league environment for us to operate. And I think very many clubs that do not understand this suffer a lot. And for us as a Kitara Football Club, we know this league environment, issues of club licensing. Many clubs suffered, for example, at the beginning of this start times Uganda Premier League, when they were not prepared to get licenses at FUFA. But for us as Kitara, I think 99% were okay. So understanding the league environment is one in which we're operating. And now for us, we understand it, because me, of course, as a head of the club, I understand the legal aspects very well. Then secondly, of course, the stakeholders, the funds. For us being a community club, in the sense, we depend a lot on the funds, and the funds almost contribute close to 45% of the budget that runs this club. Although we get this money late, but the funds ultimately bring us this money, and then sponsors and then executive members of the club. That's how we survive to raise the budgets to run these clubs. For example, for us in the big league, we might have spent close to 900 million shillings. Now we're estimating to spend over 1.5 in the Super League. In the Startimes Uganda Premier League, 1.5 billion. And I believe that 1.5 billion is enough averagely to run a club here. If you look at, if you sign very well, like you have done, and you can see how we are doing very well. And then running the day-to-day activities of the club, salaries and the others, 1.5 you can be able to move smartly. I know, of course, there are some people who have bigger budgets than this, but for me, as an investor, I'm saying if you have that, you are good to go. I think you can even be able to get the trophy here. It's not a lot of money in business sense, 1.5, because if you are looking at business, really, club should have a lot of money more than that. If you look at, if you sell a player 1 million, that's already 3.8 billion. It's enough to run a club here 2 years. So I think, as sports investors, we need to think so much on avenues of ensuring that we get a lot of money into our clubs. But here, running a club, I don't believe is extremely expensive. If you look at that, money is not a lot. And if you have enough funds, they can be able almost to get you close to 500 or 600 million at a very small fee. So I believe that it is going to be good for us this time round. And we are going to remain around as Kitara Football Club, given that now we have known how to get the money from the people, and then still remain good in the field. Because right now the demand for our products is extremely very high. Even in Kampala, a number of people want, but the supply is still limited. But we believe that as we move on, we shall be able also to harness these sources of revenue for the club. So that's how we are surviving, and we are happy, really.
Do you get any profits from running it?
No. As of now, the clubs are not profitable. There's no money in them, because if you look at a club raising close to 600 million shillings from the funds, the merchandise, and the sponsors, that means it is 40% of the budget, then 60% raised from the various executive members. There's no profit as of now. But I believe that in the coming 3-4 years, Kitara Football Club should be able to make some money. We have not gone into aspects of selling players, which I believe gets you good money, given that now we are rebranding and we are still in the early stages, but it gets you a lot of money. And if we harness into that, I think we shall be able to get some money. And after registering, of course, as a community club, since the law has already been provided and the regulations are coming up, we shall be able at least to make money for the owners of the club. As of now, the truth is the club is not profitable. And that is, you may say, is not good, but you know we are rebranding now, coming up again as Kitara. And I think mostly, almost all clubs in Uganda as of now, they are not making any money because they have invested a lot. One may think one of the clubs is making money, but I was trying to chat with people here and there. They said actually they are not yet making money. But I strongly believe that next 2-3 years, some clubs will really be making money in Uganda, mainly on the sale of players, and then even gate collections, by the way. You can be able to get a lot of money from these gate collections if you mobilize the funds very well. You see only the KCCA game, we asked 5,000 from people and we got 33 million. I believe that if we had asked for 10, it would be 60 and the others, and not an organized field really. But if you have organized setups in these various regions, you can be able to collect money and then run a club really effectively without having problems of inconsistencies in the finances of the club.
You have a model that has been emphasized by Hussein and his colleagues at the Federation of a community club. How do you sustain yourself in the next 5 years? Because your model is quite similar to what Onduparaka did. But after 5 years, they're in the big league and the numbers reduced drastically.
In the start time, they are now in the big league.
Having got relegated last season. And the number of funds reduced. You are talking about one of the avenues.
I think I've seen a lot of discussions about Onduparaka, and then of course people trying to compare it with Kitara, saying that you should learn from them. But I think Onduparaka had their own challenges. I may not talk about them on the television, but I have got inside information that they had their own challenges, which related to ownership of the club, which led the fans to not trust them enough. And then, of course, you know the challenges they had of not playing at home. Some games, I think, affected their revenue. But as Kitara, I think, as we have come now, we as the leaders of the club, and we are not going away in sports. You know, we are already investing here in an academy. It means we are going to be around for long. So it depends on the targets of the managers of these clubs or the owners of these clubs. Once you are steadfast that you are going to remain in the game and you have targets in the game, I think you will be able to do very well. I don't know what Onduparaka targeted, why they failed to sustain it. But for us, for example, we are putting up a pitch which is private to the community club, is community, I can say. A number of people are contributing to that stadium. That is one of the biggest sources of revenue for the club. And if you have that, I don't think that we shall fall back. So I highly believe that we just need to organize very well the communities. The people are willing to contribute money to this club as a community club. But of course, we have not been having a clear law for it. But now it has come in place. If the minister gives the regulations, it means that we shall now be a body corporate. We shall be able now to register clusters of the various owners of this club. And then, of course, the funds now will also be members of the club. They will have their category of how much they will be paying to own the club. I strongly believe that if we have enough, we need to have enough time, enough organization, and then we'll be able to sustain this club. And I want to say that I think Kitara should be able to start as the first well-established community club, and the fruits are already being seen, although we are not fully registered now as a community club. But I think the country is seeing, and the sports lovers are seeing on what we are doing now, and I believe that this is going to be sustainable, because we already know now how much we need to have a club run properly. And you will agree with me, as of now you are seeing we are running properly. You remember in the big league we had a full year of running properly, and now we have started very well. I believe that we are going really to sustain this project this time round.
Yeah, completely different Kitara team.
Yeah.
From the one of 2 seasons ago, where you came promoted and immediately by mid-season, it was clear you are going back to the big league. Yeah. But so far so good, maximum points from the opening 5 games. And in terms of organization, I think there's been a huge improvement. But Hussein,
yes,
very many questions I have for you. One,
yes,
how do you help these clubs survive as a federation?
As an institution, of course, Kitara is one of our 34 members. Every club that is in the Uganda Premier League is a member of FUFA. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we put the basic needs for them, to make sure that they manage their game, they manage their clubs properly. So the issue of governance is very, very important. Then number 2, creating competitions for them to play. Because without those two, you can't get to where we are right now, what you're discussing. That is business, the sport. So he's talking about governance issues at different clubs. They are being helped right now by what they went through. As an institution, they had a meeting with the institution as FUFA. We briefed them and told them, look, if you don't have the proper governance, then you're going to have issues with legal, we're going to have issues with auditing, even how you're going to handle the people outside the sport to understand you and to appreciate. When there are governance issues, definitely, if you drop 1 million shillings onto the account, you're going to see so many akikis here fighting for that 1 million shilling. But now they have established structures. It's very easy for them to know how that money is going to be spent. So how do we help them? We've taken them through what we call our famous FAMACO, the Football Administration and Management course. We have the CEO, Josh, who is a trained person from FUFA, to guide them on the basic things. What do you need? Because we've seen clubs, when they were introducing the club licensing, you ask them that one of the items that are needed during club licensing is the address of the club, and even maybe an email of a club, and people are struggling to have that. So if you don't have those basic things, it's going to be difficult for them. Football, the sport, which is an area that why they are created to play, a working environment, a playing environment for them that is nice, competition for them to participate in. If they have a squad of 30 players or 32, they don't have to be looking at Uganda Premier League only, or the StarTimes Uganda Premier League. There are the competitions, the Stanbic Uganda Cup, the other competitions, the Super 8, maybe the Super Cup as well, and also to give them the opportunity, the players, the young ones, to feature in the national teams of the country. So that's how we help them.
I feel as if we are just getting started, but our director is telling me that we should go for a break. But I'll leave you with this question. There are federations that sometimes even appear envious of what FUFA does, or what they get, or what they've achieved. What advice do you have for them? I'll leave that question to Ahmed Hussein. Let's go in for a break. When we return, Ahmed, the FUFA Communications Director, will help us delve into how they survive the murky waters of Ugandan sports. And we'll be back. It's still morning at NTV. Stay tuned. A very good morning to you. It's still morning at NTV, and this morning in this segment we are discussing sport. It's not that often that we do discuss sport, but the narrative is changing. And this morning we are discussing the business side of sport and how it can be an alternative future for many of our youth. We know the country is predominantly backed by youth or youthful country, and we're seeking measures how we can help improve our sport and even look at it on the business side as an employment avenue. And this morning I have Deo Kasozi, who runs the football club Kitara FC, the current leaders of the Sometimes Uganda Premier League, and the FUFA Communications Director Ahmed Hussein is also with me. I'm Elvis Senono. I will still insist these two gentlemen are mad because they invest, and I'm trying to peep and see how their investment bears fruits or how it becomes profitable, and I'm still scratching my head to get a response. And before we went in for the break, Ahmed, I wanted you to help us
talk about envy.
Yeah, help us in detail. How do you survive as a federation? What do you do that has helped you? You don't seem like you have any challenges for me when compared to other federations as FUFA.
No, we still have challenges despite our successful story. You know, during the era of Dr. Lawrence Mlindo as the FUFA president, there's a lot that happened in terms of changing the image of football in the country, more so with the Uganda Cranes as the biggest sports brand in the country then and until to date. There was zero sponsorship then, 2005.
Maybe there was MTN.
But you know how
when he came in, no MTN was eventually.
Yes, when he came in 2005, zero sponsorship. Then there were fans who would bring in Menvo, they would bring in Tia, the training. Then the sponsors, partners would come in and say, we have T-shirts, we are going to give you food, we are going to give you dinner, the game is going to be played, things of the kind. So from zero sponsorships to 2013, that is around 500 million sponsorship that came in. And then 2021, we're talking about 5 billion to where we are right now. The budget we're projecting about 40 billion shillings. That doesn't mean that we have no challenges. There are challenges, definitely. And the challenges, one of the main challenges is the mindset. People to accept that you have to move from amateur to professionalism. And that's when we bring in, because we're in a business that is professional. And sport, the business, is about resources. How do you bring the resources? You must have a proper product. And the proper product is football that the fans are going to enjoy. So we have the resources. We're talking about the time management. We're talking about the human resource and even the finances. So when we have the resources, definitely it's going to give you the chance to go out for what you want and what exactly people understand. We also had the challenge of external stakeholders. The perception they had about FUFA, a wrong perception, but which we believe that the institution and the stakeholders have now come together and they understand and they're appreciating why we go out there. Because we've reached out to the public, we've reached out to the communities, we've got involved in so many other things to make sure that the brand is sold out there. But that doesn't mean that there won't be some bad apples amongst ourselves. And then that's when maybe the external stakeholders will look and say, look, we still have bad apples there. Why don't you first handle those people? That's exactly what we're doing, following our rules and regulations, especially with the ethics and the disciplinary code. It helps us to manage them. Sometimes the decisions are too harsh, but that's what is in the rules, because we draft the rules and regulations, we send to the stakeholders who are involved, we tell them, please, can you have an input in this? And then they send back and say, we are comfortable with that. So the fan may not be happy, but inside our internal family is really first. So the challenge also is sometimes it beats our understanding when you find a head of a federation actually who is actually clapping hands because the national team of Uganda has failed to qualify. That is abnormal. It's unacceptable as well. So you talk about the envy. For me, it's not about the envy. I think it's failure to understand what they're supposed to do, and failure also to have they find challenges on what they're supposed to do and serve the people who elect them. As an institution, we organized what we called FUFA sharing a successful story with the different federations in the country. Some did not turn up. Those who turned up actually have progressed, and we have that story to tell about. They've come to FUFA and they're asking us, look at basketball. They attended that successful story that we shared with them. Not that we are coming around and people say that we are trying to boast around and show off. No. We wanted to share with them, look, this is what we did, and we believe you can also take up a few things. Because the institution sacrificed a lot to make sure that they bring in staff from maybe 2013 when there were about 8 staff at the institution at FUFA to around 70 right now. And that means you're spending on resources because as a result you want to professionalize the sport.
Then what do you think needs to be done to help professionalize or make sport profitable in the country?
It's for an investor, when you get into business, you need to know why you're joining that business. So you may have the short-term goals, the mid-term goals, the long-term goals, definitely. Like he's talking about 5 years' time that the team will be one that reckon with in the league, and I agree with him. Coupled with the Kabalega spirit, definitely. So you don't have to forget about that. Yes. So, but how they need to survive is they need to plan that. So they must have the right people, the right human resource, to make sure that even if you have $2 billion placed at the club, please spend. You may not get you may not realize the achievements of the team. So for me, it's about the resources that you need, the timelines, then the finances, and then the human resource, but not forgetting dealing with the stakeholders. But also you need the infrastructure as well. But above it all, what starts as number one is the governance issues. Those are things that we must clear. If they're not set up, then you're going to find an Elvis Senono who played football for the national team under 14, under 15, claiming to be a coach. I want to select the team squad for a game. Those are challenges you find.
I hope that's not a personal attack. But Deo, I'll put the same question to you that I put to Hussein. How do these clubs, how can they be helped? Or how can they be helped become profitable? What needs to change as a country, generally, first of all? What can we do to change the picture that we have at the moment?
So I think I need to pick on from what Ahmed has just said. The legal regime is very critical to ensure that clubs become profitable. I've already highlighted that I think the new Sports Act is already providing for community clubs, which is a very key aspect in the profitability of these clubs in Uganda, because almost all regions people are passionate about the game. If you look at Imbale people, if you look at Arua, you look at Lira, Gulu, then Hoima, and then the whole region of Bunyoro. So if we have an enabling legal regime, this helps us to put in place various structures to help us become profitable. For example, the issue of community clubs, which has come up now, we are going to get a cluster of members to own this club, and the cluster of members owning this club will be contributing financially. And once you have the finances, as Ahmad has said, it's not only the finances, the number of people who have the money but have failed to organize. You need also to deliberately ensure that you have very right people in these various positions, both at governance, as management, and then the technical aspects of it. As Kitara, you have seen that we have tried to do this in the right way. That's why I think we are able to win a number of games. For example, when we were recruiting a coach, we had a short list of over 5 coaches, and then we recruited one of them, and he's doing very well. And so I can tell you, so far, he's doing very well so far. Yeah, you have to put that. But I believe that we most likely we shall remain consistent. As you saw us in the big league, we were able to remain consistent in the entire, although we had some breakdown in the coaching staff and the others. But to me, legal regime is one. And then two, once you have an enabling legal framework, it means you are able now to design avenues of getting money now. From the funds, mainly as a source of revenue, from sale of players, because there must be a legal way of selling these players out, organizing academies, how to develop these players. I think the law also provides for academies. So I believe that the future of football as a case in point today is very bright in the country with this law that has come in place, and then the passion for us which we have. I believe that we are going to get a lot of money from the game, and the clubs are likely to become profitable. And starting from community clubs, to me, because I have tried to do calculations and I find that the funds can be able to fund these clubs and they remain competitive. Yeah.
Would you advise, personally, would you advise someone to start up a sports company or organization?
Yes, yes, automatically. People have been asking me whether I can do that. I can advise them, but they should not look at short-term benefits. The number of people have come in and they think they will be able to sell players immediately. If you look at Kitara, we're in the big league. We were able to perform very well, but we didn't get a lot of money from players. I think we got some money from Kadu. And when he left to Gomaya, we got some small money from him. But our target really was not to sell players at the beginning of rebranding. So people who are coming into sports, they should be looking at mainly long-term benefits from sports. You look at 5 years and ahead. I keep telling people it's like planting trees. And now people are told to plant trees and they chicken out. But if you plant trees in 3-5 years, you'll be able to go and get something from the trees, and that is sports now in the country. I know in Europe and the others, people are already getting a lot of money from sports, and the football is a case in point. But here, I think it needs a deliberate organization by the investor to see which area do you want to get money from. Like for us now, as Kitara, we believe that in the next 5 years, there will be some money which will be going into the shareholders of the club as a community club, given that we are seeing the future is already bright. The funds alone contribute a lot of money. Now we are going to go into the other aspect of selling players. If you sell one player, it is over money which can run the whole league, the entire league, over 1 trillion shillings. So we believe that people should invest, but they should not look at benefiting immediately. They should be looking at 5 years.
We are getting responses from some of our viewers, and one is raising an issue saying that your budget is quite high, and just that the 40% that you mentioned that funds contribute might be little. Is it sustainable going forward?
The budget, of course, as Ahmad was saying, you put up a budget to where everything is going to be 100% tick, 100% tick. That budget of 1.5 billion, of course, we have around 420, which is going to infrastructure. So that infrastructure bit, and that is being mobilized almost every day. So I believe that the budget is not so high. We budget knowing that every department will be 100% covered, but that may not be achieved, as you know, 100% achievement. But we believe that a budget of 1 billion in recurrent expenditures is not so high, because that budget includes infrastructure and the other things. But recurrent expenditure of 1 billion, a trophy here is easy to get, I believe. And as we are moving on, of course, our target is to finish in the best 5, and that budget is to cover the best 5, including infrastructures. So the person should not be worried about what I've mentioned. If we break it down, you will be very happy. But most of the money is really in recurrent expenditure, salaries, fuel, and the other allowances of other people.
And Hussein, what is the federation, that is FUFA? What they trying to improve, or what are you looking at to try and make sport and football profitable, say in the next 5 years also?
Of course, the only way right now is TV, because TV brings in a lot of money. So you sell the TV rights. It could be by live broadcast. It could be maybe delayed. It could be maybe producing the highlights, and even going online. That's how you're going to sell the rights. And we believe that after the sponsorship of Star Times, definitely the value will have grown, because they played a key part to make sure that the product grows. And I strongly believe that what comes through then in the next 5 years It's something that will make the current sponsors and whoever maybe will come on board that this is the real value. So for us to make sure that more sponsors come on board and partners, we keep pushing these clubs. We might be kicking them on the wrong side of their bodies, but we are trying to make sure that they deliver depending on what they're injecting in. We would not want to see someone come 1 season or 2. Bright Stars have been there 11 years. Maybe they're struggling right now, but we know there are things that they have done right. Governance issues you cannot play around with. They have the football on the pitch. Are there issues maybe internally or externally? Those are things that maybe the club need to sort out. So we don't want clubs to get into a situation. You survive for 11 years in the league, you should be able to go for another 15 years. You've come up as a new club, be strong enough, fight until the last day of the season. So the future definitely is about TV, because everything is changing.
How much are those TV rights, say, for a national team game, for the senior national team game, the Cranes?
In terms of broadcast rights, for the national team, the rights are owned by CAF and FUFA, who are members of CAF. So they make it sort of a pool. They will write to the member federation and tell them, look, we want to take over these rights. They will write to FUFA, they will write to Gabon FA, to Morocco, wherever. So they will sell them. Most of the federation actually have sold them off as a pool. So you don't have to spend a lot and not expect a lot. They'll tell you, we are going to give you maybe $500,000
for a tournament or a particular game.
Not a game.
A tournament.
A tournament, because you're not so sure that you're going to even sell that much to a sponsor in Uganda here. So it's better for you to get something that you are guaranteed of receiving immediately. So for a live broadcast, that would be about $50,000 that you need to produce a game from Uganda and even share the feed. But the other one, the pool that comes in, it's equal money that is shared amongst all member associations in the country.
You also have a TV, a FUFA TV.
Yes.
Do you get like revenue from showing these other games? Maybe Crested Cranes is playing, maybe the under-20 team, under-17 team?
Currently what the FUFA TV is doing is there are about a couple of games that we've received some money for the TV. That comes, of course, from CAF matches that we've produced. They pay some money. But there are games that we've produced barely at, say, about $2,000. That is less money for you to have a live broadcast. You're moving from $50,000 to $2,000. So you have to get the
Chitara game.
Chitara game. So if you have $2,000 from Chitara, that means the institution as FUFA goes an extra mile and say that let's produce that game, have a live broadcast, with the hope that we are going to have the sponsors come on board. Right now, Star Times are doing a wonderful job. We're also coming in to make sure they take the shares in terms of the production cost. They meet the costs of that. So right now, the institution, I can say maybe the TV may not be making money, but the projections are maybe in the next 5 years. And we want many more TVs to come on board to make sure that it's like in the Premier League, that there are 4 games live at the same time. And we have that. We've tried that about, I think, like 2 times. I think 3 times now, where we have had the 3 games live at the same time. Sanyuka has, we have FUFA TV has got. And then you find the rest of then even BBS, I think, also had a live game. So it makes everything interesting. So for the next 5 years, the bigger thing to talk about will be football. But things are changing because the fans sometimes may not want to watch TV. Some of them are excited to get onto the stadium, in the stands, hold the phone, and just to record Elvis Senon warming up. And that would be their satisfaction. They don't want to know exactly what is happening on the pitch, not even the result. Yet that is their favorite team, but they've come to watch a certain player. Yes.
Yeah, and Chitara is one of those teams that has tried to create an environment or make it an enjoyable experience on a match day. Because he was in Hoima a few months back as
for the finals
and promotion. And the fans started trickling in as, okay, we arrived at around 11, but we already found fans.
That the game was at 4. That was too early for you.
No,
they had the show. The show was,
we had to do the show.
Okay.
I don't know where Ahmed is trying to get, but Deo, what gives you the confidence that 5 years from now you will exist and you'll be profitable as a particular club in Kitara?
Yeah, of course, the plans that we are having gives me the confidence. and how the federation is running the game.
We sat in almost the same area with the people of Onduparaka, and we are all excited by the numbers they were generating. They are also high-flying in the league at the time. Now tables have turned. Now we replace Onduparaka with Kitara. What gives you confidence that 5 years from now you're going to be at the same level, even better?
As you can see, you need to look at what did Onduparaka do and did not do. For example, did Onduparaka buy land for the football stadium? I don't think they did. I think they had the, I don't know that Betway, whether it is owned by the municipality.
They just had the naming rights.
The naming rights, yeah.
But I think they still use the Greenlight Stadium.
Yes.
But I'm not too sure. I don't think they are.
So the club needs to have deliberate policies for sustainability. One of them is the stadium. Is very key.
You have a ground?
Yeah, we already have. We bought land and we have planted. I think I was showing him the pictures. We are doing the first slashing of our playing surface. So it means next season, as we are beating these big clubs again, we shall be beating them from our own.
You've beaten one so far in KCCA, but every team has beaten.
Is it Villa?
Villa as well.
Yes. Yeah, we beat Villa.
We beat Villa, the
opening game. Yeah, opening game. And we are still, of course, winning a number of games. Once you organized, I found that the Super League is, Star Times Uganda Premier League, is actually easier. It is easier to win games than in the big league.
5 games.
They are very difficult.
You played only 5 games. So
no, but it is easier. But in the big league, we had not won the 5 games. We did not win the 5 games consistently. We lost, I think, 1 game and drew 1 in the 5 games in the big league, but we are champions there. Here we have won the 5 games, and I watch most of the games, by the way.
I think they are better off now from what
I watch them on phone, as he was talking about the issue of TV. I think applications will also help.
Yes.
I watch, I pay, and that is a source of revenue for the people. So I'm telling you that Kitara is doing some things different from our brothers who left the league. First of all is the stadium. Then secondly, we are doing a deliberate policy to have the fans own this club. And that's going to be a very good tick. And it has not been done successfully, properly in Uganda. The fact that the law was not in place, but the law is in place now. If the regulations are out, we are going to do that, and we shall be, I think, a model club for that. I want to thank FUFA, of course, for spearheading the enactment of the law that is going to enable us progress very well. So I will come back here after some 5 years, and the Kitara will be winning trophies here. Right now, the fans want a trophy for this season, but I've told them no. Our target is to finish in the best 5 for now, because we have just rebranded. The issues of staying in the league are for other things, for other clubs. For us, our target is to finish in the best 5, and in the best 5 it means sometimes you top the group. And I was telling people before even we started playing that will happen, and it is happening, and it has happened for a long time. The fans want a trophy, but for now I'm telling them no. Let us just focus on sustainability of the club, and the sustainability is going to be very good. Someone was saying 1 billion is a lot of money. I don't know why. 1 billion is not a lot of money in sport. And if you are to earn from the sport, only one player gives you 5 billion shillings. So I don't know, people who are thinking 1 billion as a budget of a club is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money, because if you sell a player just per year, you get more than 1 billion shillings, so 5 billion. So we are sure that we shall be able to remain here, because now our stadium, are you going to put it away? It is there, it will remain, and the people will come in. Even if you have only the funds, actually, by the way, you can have the team remain. If you have 500 million shillings, you can have a team remain in the Star Times Uganda Premier League. The other time when we came, actually we had nothing. We had only the bus that had been donated to us by the president, and we lost most of the games. When we came here, we had nothing. Players were not being paid. Players were not eating very well. There was barely nothing to look at. But this time round, players are eating very well. Players are being paid. So we are very sure that we are going to perform very well, and then the sustainable aspect of it, we are using the law that FUFA has put in place to be sustainable.
Okay, thank you, Deo Kasozi. He's the president of Kitara, and we were discussing business in sport this morning. It's taken a large segment of Morning at NTV, And alongside Deo, I had Ahmed Hussein, the FUFA Communications Director. And suddenly, we've run out of time, although we still have a lot of things to discuss. But we'll end it on this note. We thank you for joining us on Morning at NTV. We hope to have more sports discussions, change the narrative, as we try to improve sport and make it more profitable in the country. That's been it for Morning at NTV. Stay tuned for more programming. I'm Elvis Senono. We sign out and we continue with the usual programming.